Greetings and salutations, everybody. How are all of you amazing people doing out there tonight? I'm so excited to be here on another live episode. And this is wow, we're here 2 weeks in a row. I think it's kind of crazy if you ask me. But welcome back to What's Real TV. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. So to all of our viewers, if you're watching the replay, if you're here live, if you're in the studio audience, hello. How are you? How are you doing? I am so glad. If this is your first time watching, my name is Kemaj and I am the elated host of the What's Real podcast. Live now on What's Real TV. Man, this is great. This is a lovely time. It's my sister Kanaya. Hello. Hi, all of you amazing people. Let me make sure I'm looking at the comments so I can make sure I'm seeing everybody and saying hello. I'm so glad my pops is on. Pop Rivera, His Grace, the Bishop. How are you? It's good to see you. I'm so glad, so excited, so elated to have the opportunity to talk to all of you guys. This is great. This is great. If you were here last week, we had a crazy time. We had a super time. We talked about how we could rule the world. And I don't want to spoil it for you because we're going to post a replay on YouTube really soon for you guys that weren't able to catch it over on Facebook last week. But we had a great time talking about how we can rule the world. And I think we did some crazy stuff. My Auntie Jam is here. Hi. It's so good to see all of your lovely names, and I'm envisioning your faces. So I'm just going to say I see your name and I see your faces. So it's good to see you guys. It's good to be here with you guys. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the world right now than right here with you. Look, today is going to be great. I'm going to be talking to you guys. You know, I always come up here with a theme or a concept. And today's theme or concept is the lessons that I've learned from Spongebob. I know that sounds crazy. Who in the world would watch a children's television show? Now, to all y'all that's judging me, because I feel your eyes looking at me in that tone of voice. Yes, at my grown age, I do watch SpongeBob. And today, we're going to find out why. So get you a beverage. If you like some chips, get you some Doritos. Personally, I like the Cool Ranch thing, but that's just my thing. Whatever you enjoy, whether it's a Hot Pocket or K-Pot, find you something good to eat, sit down, and let's talk. I'm super excited to be here. So the lessons that I learned from SpongeBob. Now, this is going to sound pretty insane because who in the world would think that you could learn something from SpongeBob, but I'm going to prove all of the doubters wrong right here on live television. I love saying the live television part. It's just so hot. It's so hot. It's live television. No, seriously, though. So today's conversation is very pivotal for all of us as it is the turning point of the year. We have reached July. Shout out to all of the people that made it this far because, boy, let me tell you, this year it got a little last year in it. But that's okay. That is okay. I know that it has not been easy so far for a lot of people, but I am telling you what I know and what I believe in my heart, that this is a turning point for you in this year, this moment today on July 1st. I have come to tell you that this year still, and all this chaos and all this turmoil and all this ups and all this downs, is still going to be the absolute best year of your life if you can only believe that. So this conversation is important for that mode and that modality of thinking because it's going to tie in a minute. So I want to talk to you guys about moments. Ain't that crazy? SpongeBob told me about moments. I want to talk to you guys about moments because our life is filled with them. Countless moments that we do not always see the full potential in. And I was accosted by this reality while watching SpongeBob. Something that I realized was that your entire life, every day, from the moment that you are born until the moment that you close your eyes, is filled with moments and opportunities that are designed, hear me, that are designed to develop, to mature, and even catapult you into God-ordained spaces and seasons. There are moments every day, literally in your everyday life, that are orchestrated to do something to you, or for a better term, to do something for you. All of the moments in your life, big and small, the ones that are obvious and the ones that are hidden, are ordained. I literally mean that your entire life is orchestrated for your betterment, but it's hard to see that when you can't always find the value in the spaces and in the seasons that you're in. Most of us look at our life at face value. We look at it just for what it is. But when was the last time that you looked at your life and what was going on in it, whether it be financially, relationally, no matter what aspect was that it was in, and you actually took a moment to just digest it and say, okay, what is this trying to teach me? Rarely enough do we ever look at our life and assess what it's actually saying to us, because the reality is everything in your life speaks. So every moment in your life is absolutely God ordained. And something that I have observed on my own path and my own journey is that many individuals miss out on so many pivotal moments in their lives because they don't properly see situations and because they don't properly see the situations that surround their life the correct way. Does that make sense? Am I tracking with you guys? I hope I'm making sense out there. We don't see our lives the way that we should. And because of that, we miss out on what life is trying to teach us, on what life is trying to show us, whether it is about ourselves, whether it's about our relationships, whether it's about our finances. We don't always pay attention to what life is saying to us about us. We typically wait for somebody else to tell us, or we wait to find it out on Instagram. But rarely do we take an assessment of our own lives and say, okay, this, and this is going on. What does this say about where I am? What does this say about my future? What does this say about where I'm going? What does this say about who I want to be? What does this say about what I'm trying to do? We rarely look at that and assess, like your life, believe it or not, it's like the best way. I don't know if this is going to sound, I watch a lot of cartoons. I really do. Don't judge me. I really do watch a lot of cartoons, but I was watching, this is sick. I'm laughing because it's funny to me, and I know y'all going to laugh. I was watching, y'all remember Shrek? Y'all remember Puss in Boots? I was watching Puss in Boots, and he was on this particular journey, and depending on who had the map, depended on what route they were going to take. But the route only revealed itself depending on what the person's personal life and personal story and personal individual characteristics were. So for Puss in Boots, his road was terrible. It was fire and brimstone and lakes of lava. But for his constituent, it was like this rainbow path and it all depended upon how he personally viewed his life. The road that he took was a reflection of who he was as an individual. And it opened my eyes to see that a lot of times the roads that we're taking and the roads in our lives that are laid before us are a direct reflection of where our future is. We rarely look at our lives and realize that, okay, I'm struggling in this area because there's something that I'm assigned to do in this area. I'm fighting in this area because there's something in my life that I'm assigned to do in this area. I'm having contention with these kinds of people because I'm supposed to impact these kinds of people. So we butt heads a lot. We rarely look at our life and realize that what's happening around it is speaking to the volume of who we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to do. Right? Does that make sense? Are we tracking? Is that good? I hope I'm making sense to all of you out there. If you just are now tuning in, we're talking about lessons from Spongebob. And Spongebob has taught me about some super, super amazing moments in my life. And I hope that this insight can help you guys that are watching, because this is hot. One thing y'all going to realize is my favorite term, my favorite term in this life currently, I can't let it go, is that's hot. Because it really is. It's hot. I mean, I'm cooking with Crisco tonight. It's insane. So yeah, everything in life speaks. Every season of your life speaks, and I'm not exaggerating about this. Every season of your life is filled with moments that are designed to cultivate something in you. Every season, and we just for a lack of context, we'll just say that every year in your life is a season. I treat my life like a television show because at some point, the stuff that be happening, I really got to just break and look at the camera that don't exist. I gotta every year, I literally got to look at the script sometimes. I'll be praying and I'll be asking God, I need the script for this year because whoever wrote last year's season was doing crazy. But I believe that your season 2024 script is going to be hot, right? And that's because of this conversation that we're having right now. Every season in your life, hear me, every season in your life, absolutely everyone. We're just going to treat your birthday like a season. So every time you have a birthday, you're crossing over into a new season. And every season in your life is designed to teach you something. It is designed to cultivate something in you for the greater purpose of your life, right? So funny enough, like I said, I learned this from Spongebob. That everything in our life speaks. The moments in our life are important. But the reality is that we miss out on a lot of moments. Probably too many because of skewed perspectives. And honestly, this is the truth about almost every aspect of life. If you are not seen correctly in an area of life, there's a possibility that you're missing out on the totality of what that area is supposed to give you, right? So in this particular episode, it came out almost, I kid you not, June 1st, I looked it up. June 1st, this episode is actually 22 years old. SpongeBob's been on TV for a long time. So it's a 22-year-old episode. It's old. I've seen it a bunch of times. I've seen it countless times. And it never stuck out to me the way that it did until I started looking at it. And that's a lesson in and of itself. I've watched this show all of my life, but it wasn't until this one random day when I was sitting in my kitchen that I found a lesson in something that I had just been looking at all these years. That's another conversation. I'll circle back on that at the end. But so SpongeBob and his best friend Patrick. I know y'all have seen SpongeBob, so don't leave me hanging out here. All right, I'm talking to you. I don't know which camera I'm at. I think I'm on you. I'm talking to you. Don't leave me hanging. Rock with me. Yeah. So SpongeBob and SpongeBob is crazy, Tay. You're absolutely right. SpongeBob and his best friend Patrick stumbled upon a magazine and their neighbor's mail. And don't ask me why they were in their neighbor's mail. It's a federal crime, so I wouldn't advise y'all to try that out there. Please don't do that. It's a federal crime to go through people's mail. But they were in Squidward's mailbox, and they found this magazine on Fancy Living. It's a fish on the front. He got this button-up suit on. I don't know how they got suits in the sea, but cool. Don't fight me. I thought it was cute. He has on this fancy outfit, and SpongeBob and Patrick are like, man, I want to live the fancy life. How do you do that? And Patrick's like, oh, you got to be an entrepreneur. He's like, oh, you got to be an entrepreneur. So to make a really long story short, because it's a funny episode, there's a lot that happens. You should go back and watch it. It's on YouTube. They got a 5-minute version if you don't have the time in your day to spend 20 minutes watching a cartoon. They end up deciding that they're going to be entrepreneurs, right? They decide that they're going to be entrepreneurs, and they decide that they're going to sell or attempt to sell chocolate. Y'all seen this episode. I know y'all seen this episode. So they decide that they're going to be entrepreneurs, and so they go out and they start attempting to sell chocolate, right? They get to their first client's house, and they locked in. They're like, all right, we can ready to sell some chocolates, getting ready to get it going. They knock on the man's door. He opens the door. They're like, oh, we want to sell you a chocolate bar. He gets on the mic. He's like, chocolate! Chocolate! He starts screaming. He's hollering. He's doing too much. SpongeBob and Patrick look at each other. They're just like, I don't know. And so they end up leaving because the man scares them with his excitement and his enthusiasm over their product. And so they end up leaving and deciding to, go sell somewhere else because he was, in their personal opinion, just doing too much. He was doing way too much. So they go out and they're trying to sell to other people. They try to host of other people. And it just wasn't working. They wasn't there. Their sales tactic was terrible. The pieces wasn't hitting, for lack of better terms. So they ended up having to lie to people to start selling this chocolate. So now they're like, oh, if you buy our chocolate, if you rub it on your skin, and this sounds like some of the stuff that y'all be buying on TikTok. But If you if you rub it on your skin, you're gonna live for 100 years. If you eat this, your hair will grow back. So they're lying to these people, and now they're selling all this chocolate. They're making money, and then they stumble upon this guy who's a salesman, but he's a scam artist just like them, because he's like, oh, we want to sell you some chocolates. We're sick, because they're telling him, oh, we're sick. We want to sell you some chocolates. You should buy our candy bars. He's like, oh, I would do it, but I got glass bones, and every morning I break my spleen, and every afternoon I break my knee, and da 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 da. So they end up giving all of their money to this man because they feel so bad for him. Getting conned out of, they just getting conned, clean out of what they already did. They didn't got by the tactic they was using. So they get got, they ain't got no money, they ain't got none left. They get to the end. He's mad at Patrick because he's like, we did all this and we have nothing to show for it. We done went out, we done did all this, we done lied and stole and all, we done did everything we could just to end up at square zero again. And so they're talking amongst themselves, and here comes the same guy from the beginning. Mind you, I want to reiterate that this entire time he's been chasing them down. Every couple of houses, all you hear in the background of them talking is chocolate. Chocolate. I wish I had the audio because it's a lot funnier than I'm doing it. But he's screaming at them about this chocolate. He's hollering at them about this chocolate. So they finally get to him. Oh, well, he finally gets to them. They have nowhere else to run. There's nowhere else they can go. He gets on the thing, and I know y'all seen the TikTok. He's like, oh, brother, I've been trying to catch you guys all day. He gets to the end. He's like, I've been trying to catch you guys all day. He gets them, and he says something that blows my mind, y'all.
Good afternoon, sir.
No, I want to play the
Could
clip.
we
Listen.
interest you in some chocolate?
Chocolate? Did you say chocolate?
Yes, sir. With or without nuts.
Chocolate? Chocolate! 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 Chocolate!
So he chases them down finally, guys. He gets them at the end of the episode. He says, oh, brother, I've been trying to catch you guys all day. I want to buy all of your chocolate bars. And it stopped me in my tracks, because how many times was I like SpongeBob and Patrick? They went all day lying, cheating, stealing, all this crazy stuff to get the life that they desired, to get the outcome that they wanted. They did all of that. And the man that had the resources and the ability to do what they desired, what they needed, they rejected him because it did not look like what they thought it should look like. They went out and wasted. They could have had more money than they lost, because he didn't just want to buy one chocolate bar. He wanted to buy all the chocolate bars, which means that there wouldn't have been anything else for them to do but to live in the reality that they wanted. And I really had to sit back and think about how many times I missed out on a moment for everything to be done for me, or not even necessarily everything to be done for me, but for my desired outcome to come into fruition and to manifest in my reality, because I did not like where it was coming from, or I could not perceive where it was coming from, because it was not coming from what I thought it should be coming from. And so many of us miss out on so many moments in our lives because it does not look like what we expected. And I was at a loss for words. Because logic says, how in the world would I even learn this from SpongeBob? No one will watch SpongeBob and think, oh, I'm going to get a life lesson. I'm going to learn something educational today. No, because that's not the perspective that you're looking at it for. But when you treat your life like the lesson that it is, then you'll realize that everything in my life, from the TV shows that I watch, to the relationships that I have, to the places that I go out to eat, to the things that I desire to have, whether it be materialistic or relationally, all speak to something about myself. All speak, everything in life absolutely speaks. But you have to be willing to be a student of your own life. Most of us miss out on major, major moments because we're not students of life. Don't get me wrong, the desired outcomes that we have are beautiful and they're lovely, and we should want the dreams and the visions and the goals, but the reality is the journey to get there is what's the most crucial part. Most people think that the pinnacle, like their desired outcome, is the greatest thing that they can have. But I want to challenge your perspective to tell you that the journey is the joy. They were so focused on the finer life. I want the finer life, that they missed out on something that could have given them that because they were so focused on where they wanted to get. Ended up working entirely too hard. Ended up doing way more than they needed to even do. And how many times are we like that? How many times do we overexert ourselves, overextend ourselves, put ourselves in just unnecessary foolishness because our eyes are not opened enough to see what's in front of us, to see the resources that are in the relationships in front of us. Like, if you have 5 friends, I want you to know that you have the ability to go viral. Like, you have resources. If you got a phone, you have resources. If you have a social media account, you have resources. But it is your perception that will cause you to think that the things that are in your life are not valuable enough to be used, are not valuable enough to make something greater, or to become something, or to become something greater. We miss out on moments because, and this is the core of what I wanted to talk about. We miss out on moments because we don't see ourselves or others as valuable. The reason that most people miss out on moments is because they do not see the value in their lives or in the lives of the people that surround them. If I don't think that my story, what I have, where I am, what's going on in my life is valuable, I won't pay attention to it enough to use it. I won't give it enough thought to use it. Like, that's just the way that human beings are wired. If I don't see something as valuable, I'm just not going to pay attention to it. And many times we don't see the value in who we are. This is the conversation about value. Truly. Had they saw the value in the man that was before them, they would have immediately invested in that. The problem is there are people who can see your value, but you can't. He saw the value in them, so much so that he chased them down the entire episode. But they could not see the value in him, so they wouldn't pay any attention to it. And by virtue of that, we can also see that they did not see the value in themselves to realize that why else would someone be chasing me down about the same thing all day? Had they believed in their product that much, they'd have been. If somebody is chasing you down to buy what you're selling, why would you not think that what you have is that valuable? How many things in your life are chasing you down right now? How many business ideas are chasing you down? But you can't see the value in yourself enough to commit. I want everyone listening to me to know that their life, their story, everything about everything that has to do with you is valuable. Use it. Use it. If your father wasn't there, use it. If your mother wasn't there, use it. But don't you dare spend another day wasting the value that is you. You are the value. One of the things that changed my life and allowed me to start seeing my world differently was a conversation that I had with my brother Tim, and he'll probably see this. God bless Timothy. He is a godsend. I remember I was really frustrated at one point in my life about where I was and what was going on because I did not feel valuable. And the reason that I didn't feel valuable was because I felt like I didn't have anything to show for the work that I was putting in. I told y'all this is what's real TV, so I'm always going to be honest. I'm never going to talk to you about something that I have not experienced. I've experienced this. I remember sitting in my dorm room at college, and I was on the phone borderline in tears, because talking to Tim will do that to you. But I was on the phone, and I was expressing with him how I felt like I just didn't have any value as an individual. But I knew I had been putting work in. I knew I had been doing a lot. I knew I had been giving the best of myself to the endeavors that were in my life at the time. And he said something to me that opened my eyes, and I'm hoping that it does the same thing for you. Because until you realize that who you are and what you have is valuable, you will always find yourself in some place of stagnancy, because you set the barometer on how other people, and how just you literally set the tone for your own life. So if you don't see yourself as valuable, nothing else that comes into your life will see you that way. Does that make sense? Tim said on that phone, he let me vent for like an hour. He didn't even say nothing. Silence was loud, but I needed it. And he lets me get to the end of my spiel. He lets me complain and all that other stuff just for us to get to the end of the conversation. And he looks at me and he says, you said all of this about how you don't have that and you don't think you got anything. He said, you're the proof to what you've been doing this entire time. You're to show for it. The air that left my body, I audibly gasped, because it literally opened my eyes. You're to show for it. Everything that you've endured, everything that you survived, everything that you've had the courage to continue through is a testimony to who you are and the value that you carry. You are unequivocally and absolutely valuable. Everything that has to do with your life and your story, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You are absolutely valuable. Your story, your future, everything concerning you is absolutely valuable. But you will not see it. You will not see it until you realize that you are the person of value. The value is in you. Before the value can ever be in your life, you have to realize that the value is in you. Before value can manifest in your finances, you have to realize that you have it. Before value can manifest in your relationships, you have to realize that you have it. Before value can show up in any other space or place in your life, you have to realize that you have it. You have to. Your business depends on it. If you're everything in your life depends on that. If you're going to get married, if you're going to start a business, whatever you're going to do is going to be hinged upon the point of what you deem about yourself to be valuable. And I want to tell you, you got to use all of it. Every last thing that makes you who you are is valuable, and it's needed. Your entire life, your entire story, everything about you is needed. It's valuable, it's necessary, it's important, and it's pivotal for where you're supposed to be. So from this point on, I don't want you to miss out on any moment in your life, because I already told you that every season of your life is filled with moments that are designed to cultivate something in you. Every year in your life is designed to cultivate something in you. Every year of your life is designed to do something. And that in turn speaks to where you are going. Prime example. Prayed a prayer last year. I probably won't ever pray this prayer again. I don't know why I prayed and asked God for patience. I must, hear me, I must have been out of my mind. I really had to really lose my mind because last year I prayed for patience, and let me tell you, he used all of last year to teach me patience in a way that I had absolutely never, ever known. I learned patience from the front, from the rooter to the tutor. Boy, did I learn patience. Because most people think that patience is, oh, I need to learn how to wait at the store. But I had to learn how to be patient with myself. I had to learn to be patient with my friends. How to be patient in healing. You don't understand how many layers of stuff there really is. But every year comes to cultivate something in you. It was my fault that I had to cultivate patience last year, and I think I do know what this year is cultivating in me, but we'll talk about that next year because I'm still living it. But every year of your life is designed to cultivate something in you. And it wasn't until this year that I realized that last year taught me so much about patience. Because patience will teach you to be calm where you should be angry, to be forgiving where you would usually have no mercy, to love where you would typically hate. And now what I've learned in turn helps my future, because now here I am in front of this camera telling you what I've endured. Here I am continuing in the work of things that I've done years ago. This is just like an example. It is not, I guess, concrete, but it's just to show you the modality of how life can teach you. I didn't learn patience by waiting in line. I learned patience by a bunch of different other means. And the reality is I did not realize that's what I was learning in the moment. This is what I want to highlight. I did not realize that I was learning patience in the moment because it didn't look like a lesson for patience. And so a lot of the things that are happening in your life right now look like they make absolutely no sense. Why is this going on? Why is that going on? What is happening here? Like, why are 82 different things happening in my life right now? You need to be asking, what is this teaching me? What is this developing in me? What is this saying to me? Because nothing happens in your life just to happen. Everything happens in your life to speak to something that is either going to speak to where you are and what's wrong, or where you're going. Or not even necessarily what's wrong in your life. It could literally just be speaking to where you are, who you are, your life speaks. But you have to be able to accurately assess what's going on in your life, to pivot if pivoting is necessary, to stand and continue if standing is necessary. Because this entire life is a lesson. This entire life is a lesson. Your entire life is a lesson. You are in a classroom right now. So I need you to believe that your life is valuable. Believe that you are valuable. take an accurate assessment of what's happening in your life, see if it aligns with where you're desiring to go and what you're desiring to do, what you see and what you want for your life and your future. And if it's not, pivot. If it is, double down and continue. But I need you to open your eyes and see your life for the valuable, fruitful lesson that it is. And if you do this, hear me, if you do this, your entire life will change. If you learn to value everything that happens in your life and treat it like it's valuable and treat it like it's necessary and treat it like it's a classroom and treat it like it's meant to develop you, then when seasons come that are hard, or when times come that are hard, or when things begin to go wrong in your life, you won't respond the way that you would normally respond. Because you'll realize that this isn't trying to destroy me, this is saying something. I'm having relational warfares. I'm having problems in my relationships. I'm having problems in my finance. I'm having problems in X, Y, and Z. Okay, these aren't problems. This is saying something. This is speaking to something. Everything in your life speaks. And the moment that you realize that is the moment that you can turn darkness into sunshine. And I genuinely mean that. The moment that you realize that everything that happens in your life is of value and is necessary, then you can turn your nightmares into daydreams. Because it's all a matter of perspective. It's all about how you see it. So I hope you can see it tonight. Your future, your life, your story is something valuable. I appreciate you guys for taking the time out of your absolutely lovely Monday evening to listen to my lovely little lesson from Spongebob. I hope that something was said that helped you, that encouraged you, that gave you insight and gave you structure. I want you to leave this live, leave this television, leave this moment with the understanding that your life in its totality is a lesson. You just have to be present in the moments that matter. So thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back next Monday. I think I'll do a Q&A next Monday. I don't know why I want to do that. But if you guys will send some questions to what's the Instagram name? I'm drawing a blank. At That's What's Real on Instagram. If you send your questions to at That's What's Real on Instagram, next week we will do a live Q&A, and I will share some wisdom and some insight on whatever you guys ask, on whatever you guys decide, on whatever you guys need, and we'll have a great time. I thank you so much for tuning in. I've been Kemaj Blow. This is What's Real. Peace.